When it comes to the chronic stage as well, we also need to think about treating horses with rotation. So this is like rotation of bones inside the hoof. So when it comes to treating horses with rotation, it can affect the phalanges in the hoof, so the distal bone and everything else, and you have to realign them along the phalangeal axis while also realigning the hoof wall. So it's not just the hoof itself, but what's in the hoof. And basically, there are several guiding principles. You have to realign the phalangeal axis by trimming, so, trimming the outside of the hoof, preserve the thickness of the sole for, I suppose, that cushioning, that supports. Sorry, I don't think that's really relevant. And yeah, it says move the brake over, recruit weight bearing, and I would say reduce the tension in the dorsal digital flexor tendon. I just remembered what it was. Okay. So in terms of shoeing as well, because of course this is very important, especially in the chronic stage, we already talked about the concave dorsal wall, things like that. We need to move the center of pressure. So, if the pressure's in the wrong place, that's what shoeing helps with. Distribution of the force, like if the hoof is like disproportionately trimmed, that's not good. Decrease the shock of impact, enhance the ease of movement and protect parts of the foot. And by enhancing the ease of the movement, this involves decreasing the, I think it's meant to say movement, about the DIP joint. What's the DIP joint? Oh, come on. And smoothing out break over by rolling the toe, setting the shoe back, squaring the toe or using an open toe shoe. So yeah, it's all about shoeing, which we'll talk about when going through the practicals. So you can shift the center of pressure using extensions, elevating one side of the foot. So it says here, usually the part that's touching the ground or the heel in cases of rotation. That's very important if you get this question about rotation. And it also says you need more ground surface. So what this basically means is like when you trim the hoof, you have to make sure more of it is touching the ground to bear weight by filling the palmar ground surface with a putty to support the distal phalanx and increasing the area of the distribution of the weights. Let me just move that. So it's about supporting the sole using synthetic polymers like polymerized silicone, which are two-part putties with impression material or polyurethane between bars of the shoe. So just between the metal parts of the shoe, or ground surface support with pads. And yeah, let's move on from there. Anyway, so there are several shoe types that are used to address these goals, like the regular modified shoes, Eggfar shoes, reverse shoes, heart bar shoes, 4-point and wooden shoe clogs. A lot to remember, but try. And the plain shoe basically can be modified as well. So it says by 3 ways. So the toe of the shoe, you can make it square and roll it, setting the shoe back. You can round off the outside rims of the branches of the shoe. And you can also elevate the heel by adding in a wedge. So basically, like this, like high heels or something. Now, what else? So yeah, now it's addressing all of these shoe types that are used in the chronic cases. So Eggfar shoes, you can see that they're just all the way around, egg-shaped clearly. And the good thing about it is it extends in the palmar direction. So it's focused here and inhibits the sinking of the heel and it decreases the tension in the digital flexor tendon. So basically decreases the tension on the dorsal laminae as well. So just remember that. If you decrease the tension here, you decrease the tension here. Now about the reverse shoes, so you can see that usually the shoe should be this way. Reverse shoe is just the opposite. So it combines the advantages of the Eggfar shoe with an open toe. So, we mentioned things like inhibiting the sinking of the heel, just as an example. And it offers ease of breakover, I'm not entirely sure what that means, and not protecting the toe in the horses with the dorsal solar concerns. Like this is very good for horses with like solar prolapse dorsal to the frog. So when there's part prolapses basically, and this tooth-shaped thing is the frog, just as a reminder. Heart bar shoes, so that's quite obvious. It's a bit like the Eggfar shoe, it's quite obvious in shape. So I'll show you this, So the V-shaped part of this has been welded between the branches of the shoe. So these are the branches of the shoe. The V shape is between them. And it covers the frog. Why is that good? Well, it recruits weight bearing by the frog, and it decreases the weight bearing of the laminae. So less pressure on the laminae, and I assume it means, when it says recruits weight bearing, I assume it means increases weight bearing, and it acts as a wedge, or at least decreases the descent of the heels into the soft substrate. So I think it reduces pressure of the heel. Oh, okay. We have wooden shoes and clogs. I think before I continue, let me see how many there are left. Okay, I think I'm going to stop here and then we'll continue from wooden shoes and clogs.